entrepreneurial mistakes, which tend to make many businesses pack up. The first and number one is quitting or almost quitting. Now, you got to understand that if you go and check with wherever you are, whichever country you are, only 20% of businesses that are registered every year tend to do well. Another 20% tend to pack up in the first year. I say 100 businesses were registered this year, 20 will do well, 60 are in comatose, and another 20 totally pack up in the first year of their operation. There is always a reason to want to quit. Firstly, because you probably are not getting the kind of clientele you thought you ought to have gotten. Secondly, because business is not going well like you thought it should go. And thirdly, because probably you didn't get good advice. You have put too much into the business and you have too much expectation. And therefore, you are feeling very sad. For example, I have seen people who they start a business and they think it shall be profitable that year. And sometimes you just need to learn how to do a 5-year breaking even plan so that you know that, look, as long as we are meeting our needs, cutting down our expenses and the cost of borrowing, the cost of beginning this business, it might not be until 5 years before we say we are profitable. Some businesses are like that. There are a few other businesses, maybe small ones, or the ones that hit an immediate oil mine that could be profitable the first year. Other than that, generally, you need to prepare your mind to realize that businesses don't always operate that way. I hope we are making sense to somebody this morning. I hope we're making sense to somebody this morning. Number two mistake in business and that entrepreneurs make is trying to be a CEO too early. What do we mean by this? CEOs tend to just sit and supervise. CEOs tend to stay aloof and organize and use their brain to run systems. Listen, in the early days of your business, even if you have a complimentary card that reads CEO, don't carry yourself as a CEO. Be the chief worker of your own business. Be a hard worker in your own business. Don't carry yourself CEO. I've seen people who have had challenges because all they did was carry themselves as CEO when they should have been breaking into the realms of achieving. I know of a company that I've done some work for some people in recent time. This guy was given engineering work, and huge one. Unfortunately, he hired people and he took maybe 2 other jobs, civil engineering works. And he's always just busy driving to all the various sites in his SUV with strobe lights to show that he's coming. And he's never there on ground. You never see him in. I love work clothes. I have issues in my head when I see, for example, in the third world, in Africa, when you see presidents of nations or governors of states visiting work sites in huge ceremonial clothes that must not grab a nail and there'll be a problem. I don't know why they can't wear trainers and work clothes and be there and touch and feel and question and enter the cracks and go to the places. No, they stay there and somebody is informing them while they stand aloof. The contractor is bamboozling your head with lies when you did not go and feel it or bring consultants with you who are independent, who will be able to say, no, this is not it. When you carry yourself as a CEO too early, You will not be a hard worker. You just be a man supervising and saying, I am the owner of this. And before you know, you will end up with work that is not excellent and work that is not fantastic. You need to be a salesman first. You need to be a hard worker, a salesman, marketing your own thing. Please, today on the Wealth Masterclass, if it is just the mistakes we stayed with, I'm telling you, this is what can really give your business a new trajectory. Never let anyone run things on your behalf without you feeling it, touching it. In recent time in the country of Nigeria, they pulled down about 100 houses that people had invested. Oh my Jesus. People have invested no less than £200,000-300,000 to buy each. Now you calculate that 200,000, let's just say £200,000 times 100. I think that's a lot of money. I think that's a lot of money. It sounds like £20 million, 20 million pounds. I haven't calculated. I think so. Maybe I'm right or wrong. I don't know. However, how did a man buy a house, £200,000, and did not see all documentation to be very sure that that part of town is approved for what he is buying? That part of town is exactly as it should be. So when you try to be CEO too early, you don't check, you don't supervise. Yeah, on one hand, you don't want to micromanage. But on another hand, you need to know how to connect with customers. You need to know how to connect with buyers. You need to be the first salesman. You need to know how to sell a thing. Don't be too much of a business owner. I can tell you, I've made mistakes. Can you believe we've been marketing almost for almost 9 or 10 months, a particular building in our premises in Macarius, our terrace buildings. And somewhere in my little head, I've always thought the terrace houses are 4 rooms. And I've always tried to justify that, oh my, the terrace houses are 200 million Nigerian currency, and there are 4 rooms. If I had problem really reading the architectural design and the description on paper, I should have called somebody to even show me even the more. Only for us now that we're building, and I decided to visit every nook and cranny, only to find it's not 4 rooms, it's 5 rooms. It changes my marketing strategy. I made mistake. You could have been part of my lecture to my workers on how to sell the place. It's not 4 rooms, it's 5 rooms. In fact, it was during the course of walking around that I also discovered something else. There is a room for the staff, and the room for the staff out of the 5 rooms is just behind. And the staff or the housekeeper can enter their room and leave their room without engaging the whole house. So if you were a diasporian and you bought the house, it meant you can lock up and say, okay, my cousin, just be watching the whole house, but don't enter my house. Stay in the room I give you. Your cousin can live in that one room. They can even have access to the kitchen. But from your own side, you've locked the kitchen, they can't enter the house. It is not until now that I'm walking through as they are building, there's nail on the ground, and I've done all the safety procedure, that I'm able to see it. That's what it means when you don't make the mistake of being CEO. I'm not the CEO anyway, I'm just the chairman of the company. We have a CEO. Number 3, one more point under that. Number 2, don't be too much of a business owner. Don't be too much. I'm the business owner. Don't you know who I am? I am the business owner. It does come up sometimes once in a while inside us. You just have to talk to yourself and get off your high horse. Yesterday, I was taking My wife threw Macarius so that she can see the stage of the work we've done. And while I was in the middle of the most major road, I usually anoint the ground and keep blessing the place and prophesying into the place for the sake of those who will live there one day, and also for us to sell, and for those who will live there one day, there will always be an estate that they will talk about. And suddenly some truck driver who has brought, I don't know what he brought, maybe iron rods for a contractor, was blaring horn behind me as I didn't know he was coming. I was in the middle of this road. I thought there was no vehicle coming. I've forgotten it's beginning to be an estate. Bam! The guy blasted. I was caught unawares. Something inside me wanted to swell up and say, do you know who I is? I am the CEO. I am the chairman. I'm the owner of this estate. Hey. And someone said, come down from your high horse. Get into your car and just go. Typical. Pastor Yamisi always said, don't get angry with him, just let's go. Always remember that it's not about you. It's bottom line. Your business must make profit. Number 3, taking advice from too many people is a major entrepreneurial mistake. We have so many people who think they know. You cannot even believe it. The people who are ready to give you advice the most are people who are not doing anything, or who are not on your level, or who are not doing what you're doing. They're either telling you are working too much, or you are not working enough, or they saw something like this. They know the best way to do it. They have no track record. So, listen, advice is very major. The good book, the Bible says, in the multitude of counsel, there is wisdom. So our point here is, know who has the life you want. Look for the person who has the kind of life you want, the kind of idea you want, the kind of idea you desire, the kind of things you want to know. They are the ones you should pursue and get counsel from. Not everybody throwing ideas. It's amazing. If you have ever been in any nation, particularly volatile nations, everyone on the street has an idea on how to run the nation. You'll be amazed. Even not just volatile, even simple republics. You check the United Kingdom, everybody knows how the prime minister should run the nation, including people who are struggling running a home of a wife and 2 children. They know how the whole nation of 70-something million United Kingdom should run. That's just the way man is. So you are the one who you should pursue those who have the kind of life you want. Pursue them alone. And then ask them what they did at your level. When you were at this my level, when your business was this small, or when your business was this big, or when your business was at this curve, what did you do? They will tell you how they went from good to great. Not everyone. You got to learn. Even your staff, everybody among your staff have an idea, have an opinion. Now, some of it are good, but some of them, it is as it benefits them. As it benefits them. Sometimes when they're asking you a question, you need to know when they are behaving like a lawyer. Lawyers ask you leading questions. What time did you wake up this morning? 7 a.m. Is that when you always wake up? Yes. So what did you do when you woke up this morning? I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so learn to take advice only from people. In fact, sometimes you have staff who will act like they know what you should be doing, but always remember that the best persons are those who have achieved what you want to achieve. Mistake number 4, know how to ask for guidance and advice. Well, this is not exactly a mistake now, but it is like answering already, saying, who are you taking advice and guidance from? So know who to take it from and know who to be guided by. You need experts. Never, never, never think you know enough in particular areas of specialisms. If somebody knows even a microcosm that is sacrosanct to what you want to do, you can't remove them. A building collapsed in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, 25 stories. I know the person was building. There are things you couldn't say in public all the time. But from when he was building, I remember him inviting me to visit the building. When he was at its 16th or 17th floor, I followed him, somehow got there. And the first question I asked was, where are all your engineers? Oh, he said they're around. They're always around. You never see them. I said, have you done the piling that should carry a building this high? Because you see, it's not a mistake that somebody is a civil engineer. It's not a mistake that somebody is a structural engineer. It's not a mistake that somebody is a mechanical, electrical, plumbing and engineer, MEP. Mechanical, they say mechanical engineering, it's not repairing just cars. Mechanical engineers and civil engineering are actually people who know about the whole water and plumbing system in your building. You don't have them, you have a pipe burst inside the wall of your house, and it can start destroying your house. Electrical, you can't just join wires. Electrical, part of the reason they have challenges in some third world nations is that the electrical engineer is supposed to have been involved. They just bring an electrician instead of an electrical engineer. An electrical engineer has done calculations. He knows that transformer in your neighborhood is to carry 10 houses. Those 10 houses have two families each, times 10 equals to 20. But the electrician does not know that. So each house now has four families because there are 4 flats. In our Macarios, that's why we don't allow flats. Because a flat is equal to the same consumption of the people in a whole house. People don't realize that. So when a house is tiny and it has 4 flats or 4 apartments, it's 4 families. It's 4 irons. It's 4 washing machines. It's 4 electrical cooking machines. It's for this. It's for that. So their transformers blow because they involve electrician, not electrical engineer who knows the calculus. It's not just joining wires. Not just joining wires. Every time you do a shortcut, let me confess our sin on this program. When we moved our church from Darnley Road to Waterdon Road, we didn't have much money. The architect we were working with, who was going to help us with preparing the place for us to start worshiping, he was dragging food because you don't have planning permission. I'm not very sure I want to get it. Okay, we'll go do it ourselves. We tried our best. However, well, we should have involved an electrical engineer. We involved an electrician. And this guy is, forgive my English, Mickey Mouse. He knew how to connect things, but he doesn't know the load bearing of the area. He doesn't have the system. So one of those days, I'm not sure who was speaking, but it looks to me in my head like Maurice Cerullo. Boom, power goes off. NEPA takes light in London. And it's because we are using an electrician and not an electrical engineering company. You can trust. The late Maurice Cerullo will tell a joke that will hurt you about it. I still remember him kicking all our flower pots on the platform. I don't always like flower pots on platform. For me, you notice, I don't want flower pots on the platform. There are other ways to make things look nice. Anyway, I'm just trying to give you, and you can see I've told you how on ignorant mistakes. And I'm a man who always wants experts, always wants experts. On that occasion, we didn't have much money. We had used all we had to secure the place, and we needed to renovate by ourselves. And I must give it to the man who came, joined us. He was a civil engineer who had trained in Eastern Europe, still ourselves, our head of facilities management. That guy typically was sleeping there to make the place available. God bless him richly, 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 richly. Since then, he's been working with me for something like 25 years, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm sure you got that message. Number 5, forcing instead of influencing. What does this mean? Please load number 5. When you are forcing things instead of influencing, you are forcing your staff to achieve it. You are forcing people to make it happen instead of influencing it to make happen. When you force a people to do a thing, they didn't catch the drift. They didn't catch the picture. Or when you are a marketer, you want to sell, you can't force people to buy, but you can influence them. Paint the picture. Let them see the benefit. See how it is possible. And then just give them peace of mind. Let them use their own pace, their own way, and it will be possible. Forcing instead of influencing is a major mistake of entrepreneurs, either forcing staff or forcing clients. I cannot forget many years ago, Barking Road, London, our church used to have an office there. The windows were as ancient as the Tudors. I'm not sure it's as old as Tudor buildings. But the windows are the kind you have to raise it for air to come. You have to pull it down. It's its own kind of olden days double glazing. And now there are modern ones that you could just lock on the side. And this guy, those double glazing salesmen, the guy comes, wants to sell double glazing. After he's made the presentation, said, can I sign you now? I said, come tomorrow. Oh, this guy, you couldn't take it, come tomorrow. Maybe he's got a mortgage to pay. You've got a family to feed. You've got a target to reach. This guy continued. Sir, come tomorrow. Then you come from another angle. Sir, come tomorrow. When I now saw that he had 10 steps of persuasion, maybe that's how they trained him in School of Salesmanship, Augmandino. I made up my mind. No matter what this guy says, tomorrow is even canceled because he was forcing it, not influencing it. And I'm glad, maybe by reason of it's my style when it comes to major expense, major decision. Unless it is urgent, I always say tomorrow, so that I can think over it and do a SWOT analysis in my head, strength of it, weakness of it, opportunity of it, threat of it, and then make a decision that seems informed. The guy pushed. I just managed to get him out of the door and took a very deep breath. Ooh. No double glazed window. He called the following day, sorry, Mike, he ain't buying. I'm glad we didn't buy because without informing us, we only got to know through grapevine that the local council, the owners of the apartment, had put it out for auction without telling us. And by the time we were bidding, it was almost too late. We didn't get the bid. It was the first thing to ever try to give me a stroke. Thank God. Thank God I never had a stroke in Jesus' name. You know. So listen to me. Do not force it. Do not force it. Do not force it. Always influence. And people can now Be part of the process, part of the decision. I was responsible to sell 2 plots of land recently of Macarius. I'm not the marketer, but I know this guy is very wealthy. He lives in Houston, doing very well. I had presented to him houses and land. He looked, said, well, one day we'll buy. We're very busy now. Okay. Then he comes to that. I said, can you help me bless my house? I went there, blessed his house. Sent him the detail again. Yeah, I think I'm interested now. Maybe I and my wife will come. No problem. They came to my house. They were the ones who started. Oh, okay. This is the benefit. This is what you missed by not being part of the February purchase. This is the value now. Oh, wow. Wife says, hey, we're going to buy it now. All right. I'm looking. Influencing, not forcing. So when the money is rolled in early this week for 2 plots, can't tell you the amount. I want you to be jealous. It felt good, influencing him. In fact, after they left my house the day they came, he said, oh, I'm wiring today. Okay. It took him 2 weeks because he's by nature a phlegmatic person, very slow, very calculating. It takes his time. And that's fantastic. Those kind of people hardly give you problem. Impulsive buyers will come back tomorrow and say, can I return?